Looks like we're on, doesn't it, Dan?
It is. It's saying it's redirecting.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Go ahead, Judge Fleener.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for taking your time out this morning to be in this meeting. We greatly appreciate it. We'll start off this morning by roll call. I see we have Melissa Cardwell, Judge Coleman, and Colton Givens, and myself. I don't see Judge Vincent, and Kevin's not with us today. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Our first item this morning is approved. We've got several minutes here to approve. We can do this all in one motion if you all would like. Just need a motion to approve the November 18th, the March 17th, 19th, 30th, and April 15th minutes.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
A motion by Colton,
Second.
second by Judge Coleman. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Architect update.
Yeah, I'd let Tim and Dan know we received the HBC submittal review comments end of last week, and we're working on responding to those. Just so everyone knows, we're dealing with what I believe is a relatively new plan reviewer, and I'll just leave it. Her comments were unprecedented in their length, but most of which don't have any basis in reality. Some of them don't even apply to this project, so I don't know where her mind was at during this. But anyway, I understand from others that they've had a similar experience. So we're just going to respectfully respond to each of the comments in detail and hope that takes care of it. If it does not, we will immediately go to her superior. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Jeff, do you have a timeline on this?
Well, I wish I did. Nope. Because we are totally, again,
Totally in the dark.
blindsided by her comments. I mean, for example, her very first comment was she needed shop drawings for the wood trusses, which we don't have. And it kind of that set the tone for a good share of the comments on the page. So it's embarrassing, honestly, but that's who we have representing HBC at the moment. So it is what it is.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
CM update.
I spoke with Tim. I'm going to speak for Alliance today. He's away. He can't participate in the meeting. Basically, he's working on all the front ends. And once Jeff gets his HBC review complete, if there are no comments, then he'll wrap up his front end review and be prepared to go out to advertise.
Okay.
He did meet. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it won't take long to, I mean, we're done, other than any valid comments that would need to be responded to. But once we get the word or get the letter, I mean, it's just a matter of a few days to kind of get everything compiled and, ready to go. It's not going to take long.
So Tim did meet with Judge Fleener on site and had an abatement specialist who we've approved their proposal. I think they're going to schedule it sometime early May, and they'll get with you, Judge Fleener.
Okay.
And they plan to do the asbestos abatement.
All right. Sounds good.
I can say
ahead.
one more thing. I'm sorry. I just thought of this because I'd forgotten. I talked to Judge Fleener about this, but not everybody else. But when the comments came up about the adjoining building there against the neighbor's property, and him wanting to see a new wall, and all, we're working on getting that done. So that will be included in the project. It won't be anything extra. At this point, it's just one more thing that yeah, nobody needs to, I think, talk about it anymore. We'll have that included in there, in a manner that will satisfy him.
Yeah,
So they'll just be rolled into the job. Yep.
that's great.
Mhm.
And as far as the other guys that came down looking to take those tile up, the room was ready. We cleaned it all out the other day, so all they have to do is just go in and get them and be done. All right, payment of bills. I have those. Your packet,
We didn't have any disbursements.
okay, none. Is there any other business to bring before the board this morning?
Judge Fleener, I just wanted to bring up if there was any comments after the zoning meeting. We had heard that everything went well, but I was just wondering on your end if everything seems to be going well for that.
It seems to be, they haven't made a decision just yet. They said that they had 60 days to do it, but they assured me that it wouldn't take 60 days, but I haven't heard anything from them.
Okay.
They did come down to the site after the meeting, and looked at it and didn't seem to think that there would be any issues with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and that would be our site guy who was there with the meeting. He got the same vibe that basically it was just a matter of going through the process, not that there was any real problem. It just, if they said they had 60 days, they might take 60 days just because just because, but that's not unusual for agencies just to take their time on things.
Okay, is there any other business to bring before the board? Are we still looking at sometime possibly in May, early June, possibly to have a groundbreaking or something like that?
That was going to be my question. I get asked that every day.
Dan, have we got any dates from the Chief Justice's office?
No, we were waiting to make sure that our schedule didn't get pushed out by HBC review. 'Cause
Okay.
we couldn't anticipate what that effective approval would be. So
Okay,
once we get that, then we'll get dates from the judge.
One thing we need to make sure is if we want to wait, making sure that the GMP comes in and we're within budget. But that's the gamble we can take if you want to do the groundbreaking prior to that. But typically we'll wait to see that number. What do you think, Mark? Is that necessary or not?
I'd say we get a date shovel ready for the Chief Justice, and
Okay.
then we can send the invitations out once we know we're in budget. And we can possibly, we know it takes at least 30 days to bid it and 30 days to get a contract in place with a construction manager, and they need a couple of weeks to vet the bids that come in from the subs on their bid review process, so we could forecast a date and get something tentative, and that way we got a placeholder already in place. You know what I mean? And we can probably also get to work on getting the invitation list together and the program. That way we have it ready.
So we're probably looking at mid-June at the earliest.
Yeah. So normally, let's say we get HBC approval back. They'll bid it for at least 30 days, and if there's some odd question or something comes up, they could extend the bid by a week depending on something happens, or the contractors say, hey, there's another big job that's bidding that same time. We can't bid both, and by chance we could choose to move the date to make sure we get as much participation as possible. So what that would happen, let's say soon we get good bids on everything. The construction manager, what they do is they'll have I'll say generally speaking, they basically have what they call like a bid review. So they'll get with the guys who are the low bidders. They'll go over with what was all in their bid package to make sure those guys, whoever bid the job, did not miss any scope of work. And they do that because they don't want to have somebody on contract who missed part of the work and could, let's say, maybe jeopardize them financially, because that's they could go broke over it or whatever, if you will. But basically, they'll do that for all the packages. And Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we did it on Barron County, it took them a couple weeks to get through all the bid packages with the subcontractors, didn't it? Before they were able to present to the board.
Oh, yes, sir. They vet each package to make sure that the low bid is the best value for the project. So sometimes if
Yeah.
there's two close bids and they've not worked with a contractor, they might run it by like Sherman Carter, making sure and other consultants to make sure that those bidders are uh, competent enough to perform. But yeah, you're looking at a couple of weeks after that. But once we get those numbers in, we would know whether
Yeah.
we're kind of within that budget or not.
Yeah, usually, Melissa, so usually once they do the bid review with the bidders, they'll take those and get all that together. They'll present it to the board, and then if there could be a chance that the construction manager, like Jerry's saying, they might not necessarily choose the lowest bidder on a bid package if they think somebody's questionable on if they're good enough to perform the work, or if they've had them on a job in the past and they've had problems with them performing, they may choose somebody else, even though that person's a low bidder. So that's usually not an issue unless it's a budget problem. Just throwing that out there, and they'll basically, if they choose to use somebody that's not necessarily the lowest, they would explain to the board why that's the case, if you will, because ultimately, the construction managers, they're at risk for getting the building done, versus, um, if the board selected all the subcontractors, then the construction manager, he can't be liable if they don't perform. So that has caused problems in the past, I believe. And so right now they're basically, when the CM bids the job, he's on the hook for those guys getting the work done, if you will,
Right.
versus just management. So if they're late, they're extend their contract to receive liquidated damages if they're late on beyond when they're supposed to get the building complete. But assuming we get good bids on all that, usually they'll present that. If everything's okay there, then we have to get a contract in place with the construction manager, and that takes probably up to 30 days. I say a decent amount of paperwork. We just did Barron County with Alliance, so they're familiar with what paperwork's got to be turned into us. There's just some exhibits that's in the contract that they got to get together, and then once that happens and the contract's in place, they're free and clear to start on the work, if you will. Um, so, and also too, from a scheduling standpoint in general, since we have a construction manager, they basically come up with the schedule and the time it takes to get the work completed. So versus if it was a general contractor bid job where we said, okay, you get 2 years to get it done, the construction manager basically figures out how long it's going to take them to get the job done. Um, so it's up to them to deliver on what they say they can when they come up with the schedule.
But probably looking at least 2.5 months before groundbreaking.
Possibly, but we'll usually, it would be ideal for us to probably try to get it done when the time we think we would have the um, contract toward the end of when we're getting the contract done. Usually, if everything's in good, we got a spot out there. The construction man will go out there. Assuming we got a lot of asphalt out there right now, he'll bring in some dirt or whatnot. We'll have us a spot where we can set up a tent or whatever, in case we have bad weather. Do all that type stuff. So,
Just trying to get an idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
As Mark
Yeah.
said earlier, the invitation list and getting the chief's office, getting the chief to commit to a day is sometimes difficult. So starting that ball
Exactly.
rolling might be a good idea.
Yeah.
We can tentatively reach out there for a date and not print any programs or anything, but at least we'd have a lot of information done.
Yeah.
Um,
There's we'll get the ball rolling this. There's also a program for like whoever's going to speak. I have several example programs like scanned in to share, so when everybody gets this stuff that they can see what they've done at other locations and whatnot, for them to try to think about what they do or don't want to do. So we can share those. and then, our print shop will print the programs and print the invitations. They print all those usually, send them to the county, and then the county fills out who all they want to invite, and then just mail those out. But, we have a print shop here where they get all that printed for us, and then we'll ship them to you, and then the day when we actually have the dedication, we'll usually bring the programs with us, or, AOC has one person here that in the communication office that does photography for all the pictures. Jim, he usually brings the programs with him when we actually do the dedication or groundbreaking or whatnot. So, but we'll have all that, should have all that ready in advance, just so you know.
It'd just be nice to get a date that we can mark for
Yeah.
court calendar, I'd
Yes.
like for my deputies to be able to attend.
Yes, that's no problem. We can work on that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Judge Fleener, any questions on the groundbreaking other than I'll send you all probably just some scans of those others.
Mhm.
Just, sometimes they'll have the high school band come, or they'll have, I don't know, RLTC, it just depends, so you can take a look at some examples and then maybe be thinking about what we might need to be doing. So,
All right. That sounds good. Yeah, I'd just like to get a date nailed down to where I can just start telling people,
yeah.
Okay. Is there any other business this time? Okay. If not, we need to schedule our next board meeting.
Judge, I believe it's May 19th would be the third Tuesday in May.
That is actually
You don't want to have it that day?
I'll not be here today.
That might get your mind off of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we want to have it? I'm just looking at our calendar Jerry, I don't see anything on the 20th or 21st. I don't know what everybody else's schedules is, if we want to have a meeting on a different day or,
Could always hold that well, is that out of the question for you guys, Judge? The 19th? Do we need to go ahead and move it today or?
It's out of the question for me.
Okay, no problem. That we could, Dan can work on that, can't you, Dan? And try to find us another date. Maybe what about the next day? Like Marcus said on Wednesday, do you all want to see if we have business and maybe some bills to pay and try to schedule it on the 20th?
Judge Coleman, what do you got? What do you have going on? We got you on mute there.
For a trial, but I don't think that trial is going to go. So,
Okay. You think you might have a trial. So
no, I will be good for that day. Even if the
Okay.
trial starting comes, I usually start at 9. So,
okay. All right. So what about anybody? Colton, is there any problem for you?
I'm good with the 20th.
Hey, Jeff, any problem for you? On the 20th at 9?
If we change the date, we need to make sure we post it 24 hours ahead that it'd be a special call. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just cancel our regular meeting and then we'll post for a special call meeting on the 20th. It's no problem. We want to set that for hey, Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you good with the 20th?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I
I
thought
was
you
just
heard
making
me,
sure
yeah.
you didn't have something.
No, that works.
Okay. All right.
Let's go with the 20th.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to post it. I think you can post it on the courthouse door 24 hours in advance, just given the new date.
Yeah. We can get that taken care of.
Thank you. Is that
Okay.
okay with you, Judge Flynn?
Yes,
That date work, okay, that help you, okay,
thank you all. Sorry about that.
no
Okay.
problem.
If there's nothing else, then, I will adjourn this meeting. Once again, I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. Thank you all for your time. I know everyone's busy. But try to get out and enjoy this pretty weather while we got it.
Mhm.
Have a good day.